All right, people, welcome to Rauta's monthly stream. It's 1st of February, so really couldn't do the February monthly stream before this very date. Now, as always, there's nobody on the stream whenever it starts because I don't do stupid premieres. Anyway, as soon as people start popping up, I will explain what's going on. Not that there is too much going on, but always something. Obviously, I will have beers for the stream. That's kind of a goes without saying. Never do streams without some good beverages. And of course, I'm ready to tackle your questions. I'm ready to answer whatever you have here in stock for me. And yeah, I think it's time to give you a little bit of update what's going in Rauta camp. And unfortunately, there is not fundamental amount of wonderful amount, amazing amount, awesome amount of stuff that I can talk about because well, every year is pretty much pretty slow, meaning there is not too much happening. Festival season hasn't yet begun, and as such, I wish I could really give you a lot of cool details and tell you cool stories and all that stuff, but maybe we will have to wait for that for the spring to really uh, get started. As always, please, if you want to make sure I will answer your question, tag me. That is tag Rauta. I'll give you a good example what it means. Take a look at the chat. Because when you tag my name like that, I will see it highlighted, meaning that when people are talking on the stream, when they're commenting a lot, I will probably miss your comment without me being tagged. So make sure you tag me and then I will totally answer to you. So welcome to the stream, and I wish you are already having a good February, even though it barely started. Thank you, Rob Hellfire, taking my tag comment right there to your heart. And since we are a couple of minutes to the stream, it's time to enter the beer game today. What we are having here is once again Malla Sepät, a local brewery from Naantali, Finland, a nearby city, providing me with some cool beers. They're literally cool because they have been outside and it's pretty much freezing temperature right now. Today, I decided to start with Vanilla Macchiato Imperial Stout. It doesn't really sound like a beer, but trust me, it is. It is vanilla, coffee, milk, sugar, and as with always with Imperial Stouts, this one is a strong one, 10% and more. So let's start drinking beer and answering your questions and putting you on the map with Rauta's monthly things. So before we get started, make sure you got your drinks ready. Make sure that you got your engines oiled up and we're ready to get the things going on. I don't know about you. I just came from the gym about an hour ago. Just had nutritious, rice and chicken. Not much of a taste, really, let's be honest about it. You know, workout food can be such tasteless stuff. So I'm overcompensating with quality beer. Look at this beautiful stuff. It's pitch black with a little bit of creamy topping, very coffee like thing. So technically speaking, I'm having coffee and beer at the same time. It's like sex in your mouth, really. Oh goodness, this is so good. It's almost like a Slayer is playing a gig in my mouth. Or maybe we should talk about black metal because this beer is strong and super dark. So it's almost like Dark Throwings having a gig on the top of my tongue, if that makes sense. So anyway, nice to have you people here on Rauta. And obviously, like I said, a few minutes ago, a couple of minutes ago, tag me when you wanna see me, reading your comment out loud and answering your questions because highlighted comments are easier to see. Um, First of all, it's good that you people have free time to pick my brain, ask me questions, and I try to do my best to answer your questions, obviously. So, Motibi, Cecilia Taylor, Anastasia, Alai, Rob Hellfire, obviously, Rutgen and Jussi, nice to have you here, everybody. I wish you're having a great Saturday evening, or whatever time zone it is. For me, it's an hour to midnight, and for you, it might be some, I don't know, afternoon. So, anyway, long introduction, obviously, and all that stuff. So, Cecilia Taylor is being interrupted by Rauta interrupting Moomin episode. I don't know what's wrong with you American people with your Moomins and American people going Finnish. Um, Anastasia is commenting, listening to the Underground podcast today, and dude said Goat Moon sounds like Gorgoroth. Ideas. Well, I don't know if Goat Moon really sounds like Gorgoroth. Quite a different take. This is a good way to just advertise what we did last week and what we got out this week. We did so-called the Unholy Trio podcast, meaning Iblis manifestations and into the necrosphere. Both guys, both podcasts from UK with various backgrounds. You know, Cheyenne from Iblis Manifestation, he's from Iran originally, but being a British citizen, and Jackie from Into the Necrosphere is originally from South Africa, but being a British citizen as well, and me from Finland, being from Finland. And we did the kind of a Unholy Trio podcast together last week and put it out this week and divided the whole podcast. We talked over 3 hours, three different parts or segments. And the first episode came out on Rauta on Monday. The second one was out on Into the Necrosphere on Tuesday. And the third one was released through Iblis Manifestations on Wednesday. So each and every podcast respectively put out a single episode. So our 3 hour plus conversation was pretty much divided in three parts. So we could both get a little bit new coverage, like, Rauta coverage to Iblis and Into the Necrosphere fans, as well as Iblis and Into the Necrosphere fans finding about Rauta and all that stuff, because we're three bald guys, all very much into extreme metal, no apologies and all that stuff. And we wanted to talk about cancel culture. We wanted to talk about metal. We wanted to talk about festivals, like what's good and wrong with them, and various other topics. And because we get along very, very nicely, and we all share somewhat similar take on metal, obviously from different backgrounds, it's more fun. We are three guys of three different age and very much different background, and yet at the same time we do share this common interest for metal music, and even more so extreme metal music. And that makes, in my opinion, a fantastic conversation. And I know some of people you right there have already seen or more like listened to our podcast episodes, but in case you missed the information that it was done in three parts on three different platforms. Well, technically speaking, there are more platforms than that because, for example, Iblis Manifestations and Into the Necrosphere both released their podcast on various streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, so forth. And Rauta is then again on YouTube. But the point here is everybody gets to release their part of the whole podcast on their respective platforms. And I hope you people have been enjoying the podcast. It was a first time for us and a pilot run in that sense. But I think we had really, really good time. I think we all agreed on that. And so far, we got nothing but positive feedback. I don't expect everybody to like what we say, what we think, how we feel, etc. But I think it's worth the listen for you people who are already following Rauta, or if you're following Into the Necrosphere and Iblis, even more so. And I can nothing but full heart recommend you to check out those podcasts. And like I said, the first episode was on Rauta, and the second part Into the Necrosphere and Iblis manifestations. Great guys, great minds, and wonderful, interesting opinions about metal and beyond. So be sure to check them out when you have time to listen for a little bit of a podcast talk. And like I said, when you're tagging me, I'm gonna obviously reply to you faster than the non-tagged ones. So here it is. Rob Hellfire is having like a depressing city day here in Canada. I'm sorry to hear that you have a depressing day. I hope that your day will be better over the course of this stream and beyond. Like have drinks, chat with us, with your friends and all, and salute. And Ally is saying, enjoying the 3 episodes very much. Good topics covered and everyone was aligned. What's next? Ally, good news for you. And first of all, thank you so much for your words. We were already planning a sequel to this. Like I said, it was a pilot run and we pretty much tread the water, like how we felt about it. We had a good time, even if the audience didn't. I don't know. Mostly, I guess people had a good time, and we are gonna keep going on with the given podcast thing. I cannot say when and where we're gonna do the next episode. Will it be face to face at some point, or will we go on with this online thing? Most likely so. But there is already a plan to do another episode of that because, like I said, we got so much good feedback on it. And I think podcasts make way much more sense when there are more than one people, talking. If I had the possibility to have like, people face to face, visiting Rauta, I would definitely do more of those. But I'm not too much fan, usually for these kind of Zoom or whatever online podcastings. Don't get me wrong. I totally respect Cheyenne from Iblis and Chucky from Into the Necrosphere doing that. It's not so much my thing. And as you can see, as you have seen, I don't do much online interviews. Pretty much that ended with the COVID lockdown ending, and as such I preferred face-to-face thing, even if it limits a lot of the interview possibilities for me. But that's just how I do it. For me it's different than for some other people, but definitely I would love to have the kind of a Joe Rogan experience, kind of a podcasting where we would be in the same room talking about this and that, and I hope to explore that possibility in the future, given the possibility to do that. So, yeah, I think there will be more podcasts with the Unholy Trio setting happening. 93, hello, welcome to the stream. Mothibi is asking, am I going to review the new Pentagram album? Only if the physical copy is arriving here. As many of you know, I do reviews based on physical copies. I get a copy, I unwrap it, I listen to it, and then I get to show you like, hey, this is the album, and then blah blah blah. Now, every now and then I am thinking about it, doing reviews, with the digital things, but at the moment it feels so unfair to do with digital copies only, because let's be honest about it, when people put their money and time to send me a CD or vinyl or whatever, it would feel utterly wrong to just focus on digital ones when people actually put money and time sending me stuff. So as long as I'm getting physical copies, they always take the priority. And at the moment I have about 80 CDs slash tapes in my queue, so I will always do the physical ones before. But should that stop at some point, which is totally possible, then I will probably do some digital reviews as well. I've been lucky really lately, having 3 different special versions of releasing music. Something you can see on the background here, the Wasp box. It's also here behind my guitars, the 7 CD packaging with a book and all. I was really, really happy to get that, and the review should be out next week. Then I got recently, I don't know where I put it, somewhere here. Probably, oh yeah, on my turntable you will see this black box. That's a Beastcraft special tape compilation with wall posters and whatnot. And I recently got the Conflagration CD tape box, which I already unboxed. There's too much stuff on it, I'm not going to show it again. My point here is, when there are these special releases, I feel like it's a big celebration of doing reviews and all. So Focus on the physical stuff. Hello, Treasure Rocks. How are you doing? All right. So once again, people, I've said it 15 minutes ago, but whenever you want to make sure that I answer you and your question first, tag me. So I will get those notifications for highlighted and all. But meanwhile, I will also try to answer your questions even if they are not highlighted. Yes, this is very delicious beer. I showed it a couple of minutes ago. This is Malla Sepat, the brewer that sent me this box of beer, or maybe more like I picked up a box of their beers. This is Vanilla Macchiato Imperial Stout, 10.4%, which is vanilla, coffee, and milk sugar. Now, I'm a big coffee fanatic. I'm a coffee addict. I love coffee almost as much as good music. And since I also love beer and coffee having sex on the top of my mouth, I mean, that's one of the best things in the world. What else? What else? I'm going through your questions, your comments. Jussi was asking me how it is going and how has the winter been going. Well, could I say we could have really had a little bit more snow. I don't know about you guys, but the climate change is real. This winter has been like the bottom thing for years. I don't remember such a winter in Finland for years when we had very very little snow. Actually, today when I was coming home in the afternoon, I noticed that the local downhill skiing place. There's a small, I wouldn't call it a mountain, but a hill for mountain, what it's called, downhill skiing. Uh, it barely had any snow left, meaning this year sucks for people who like to go enjoy outdoor sports, speed skiing, downhill skiing, skating, ice skating. I mean, it fucking sucks. But in terms of the heating bills are lower, so can't really bitch about it. Um, to my surprise, I was really happy to have one more festival before the end of the year in late December when I went to Ahvenanmaa, the local archipelago island, and I made a recap video. A small, cute city which had now for the first time a new festival. So I was kind of like happy to be there and do one more interview before the end of the year because it's always very depressing in sense of gigs and all that stuff not happening in December and January really. It's almost like the live metal activities are dead within in December and January. So it kind of a sucks in that sense. How I keep myself occupied is obviously listening to a lot of music, doing content for Rauta. I already did like Horna retrospective a while ago, Sargeist retrospective a while ago, and more videos about Finnish black metal scenes from the 90s. I'm currently preparing for episode number 5 is the next one. I just went through those bands which are going to be included. And so I have kept busy, aside the day job, obviously, and all that stuff with my own bands. We're rehearsing new songs, doing Rauta content, working out, obviously, building them tiny biceps. And, in general, just being a happy motherfucking metalhead. And that's how I roll, write music, write lyrics, rehearse lyrics and songs, new songs, old songs, preparing for live at Steelfest, and working out, listening to a lot of music. Just the basic thing. I try to enjoy video games every now and then and watching some cool series, but I don't know. Life tends to be busy when you're having a lot of cool activities in your life, meeting friends and shit. I hope this is not boring, but I mean it's pretty basic. Cecilia Taylor already tagging me. I'm starting up Rauta Reacts channel more. I see. Yeah, people who don't know what I do on Rauta Beyond, my secondary channel, which has been kind of on and off for years now. You know, YouTube just congratulated me for 7 years of activity. And I felt like, really? What the fuck? I think I had it like for 3, 4 years now. But 7 years, Rauta Beyond has been off for quite some time here and there because at some point I felt like there's no reason to have a secondary channel. But then again, I like to do certain other kind of videos which don't really fit Rauta stuff. And because Rauta is already full of, review videos and whatnot, I try to do secondary content on my secondary channel called Rauta Beyond. Recently, I have focused doing reaction videos, which they kind of suck, but people have been hoping for me to react on various, music videos and even movie trailers and all that shit. So I decided, what the fuck? They're easy to do. It's fun to comment some music videos, and it's just something different than I do on Rauta. Obviously, everybody can make requests for me to react to on Rauta Beyond. I hope that people would mostly do those requests on Rauta Discord server, but obviously you can just comment on the videos and all that stuff. Don't make the requests here because I will just forget them after the stream. Xerg is asking if I heard the new Revenge release. No, I noticed the news that there's new Revenge, but I haven't heard it yet. Will be interesting, but I must say Revenge has been too much like One Trick Pony throughout the years to make me really like, whoa. Well, we'll see about it. Ginger Rocks will send me some self-made stuff. Thank you so much, Ginger Rocks. I'm really looking forward to that. So as always, people, tag me if you want to make sure that I answer your questions. Now I'm going back to the backlog of comments and all that stuff. 93 was asking, greetings from Greece, by the way. Sorry, I missed that. What's my opinion on black metal being explored in many ways in art forms? Do I feel it moves away from original sound, or is progress important? I hate this. I hate to say this, but it's a good question. That's always way too for artists to kill time before they actually answer the question. Seriously speaking, I'm very much divided how I feel about black metal being explored beyond the typical thing. First and foremost, for me, black metal is the kind of definition of unholy music, dark music, um, evil music, if you will. Obviously, evil and good can mean a lot of different things for a lot of various people. So I kind of shy away from using those words for that. I guess it would be safe to say it's sinister music, it's malevolent music, it's dark music. At least that's how I feel about how black metal should be. And that should always go more or less hand in hand with certain set of ideology. Um, Lyrical content can vary a lot, but once you go too far from away from black metal, what it used to be back in the first wave or early second wave, I feel it's then not black metal anymore. It's almost like becoming this post black metal thing or some kind of a crossbreed, a crossover genre thing. I mean, back in the days, I don't know if how many people over there on the other side of stream remember, but back in the days when thrash metal was being getting kind of invaded or becoming more like a hybrid form of things, it was just called crossover. And thrash metal has always been a very, very kind of a small segment, very, very marginal thing. I mean, if you go too much on that way, it's something different. And people call it groove metal or death metal. Sometimes thrash metal sounds more like black metal, whereas black metal is this majestic area. I mean, you have atmospheric black metal, which is nothing like Marduk. Then you have raw black metal, which is almost like the opposite of the more symphonic black metal. You have the symphonic black metal. What the fuck have you ever heard of symphonic death metal or symphonic thrash metal or symphonic, well, power metal, I guess, goes with symphonic doom metal? My point here is there's so many different ways to do black metal and still say, yeah, it's black metal. whether we're talking about satanic topics or non satanic topics, whether we're talking about more melodies, more tempo, less tempo, more symphonic parts, less symphonic parts, more rawness, more polished sound. You can say a lot of things are black metal. But essentially, when you go far enough, it ceases to be black metal. I'll try to use a good example. When you go too far away with different kind of alcoholic beverages like beer, it stops being a beer, you know. Obviously, when you do certain kind of drink in a way that, hey, this is how beer is made, you know, it's brewed. Yeah, sure, it's beer, but there are limits. You know how you do a beer, for instance, or a cider, for example. Cider is probably a better example because um, there are a couple of ways, you know, to do cider. You can do it the traditional way, you know, let it become fermented, and then alcohol is in your, I don't know, apple juice, and you're like, hey, this is cider. But there are also these kind of ciders sold in the markets where it's technically, you know, done so that you basically take some kind of like vodka and you mix it with apple juice and say, hey, it tastes like cider, so it's got to be cider, even though we didn't do it how ciders are made. Now, I know this is a goofy comparison, but my point here is it's almost like this Christian black metal. Fuck, black metal is not Christian, you know, per se, and it can sound like black metal, much like that cider can sound or seem or smell like cider, even taste like cider, but that doesn't mean it's cider. And the same thing, in my opinion, applies to black metal. Some things are very close to the real stuff without being real. So while in my opinion black metal can be totally explored and you know executed in so many different ways, when it's being more like exploited rather than being explored, it just ceases to be black metal. So for instance, if there is a something like black metal but it is a joke, I don't consider it a black metal. I call it just black metal parody or just a joke. So there is this, you know, difference in terms of what is being real and what is fake. That's why already back in the early 90s there was these comments like what is true black metal and what is fake, posers, wannabes, and the real people, the true people. I know some people don't understand what it's coming from and why those words being used for that stuff, and some might even say it's boomer shit. But let's be realistic. You know, everybody has a certain thing in their lives. Most people, I guess, have a lot of different things in their lives where they want to be taken seriously. It can be your study, for example. You might say, I'm a real doctor, not some fake doctor. And you already are having this very same conversation, what is true and what is fake, what is poser and what is real. Or some people might say, "Yeah, I have a real relationship. I'm a married person, or I'm a person in you know real serious relationship." Or you're just faking one with AI, you know. So everybody probably knows that there are things which are real, which are true, which are honest, like honest friendship. True friend is a true friend. A false friend or a poser friend is just a fake version of it. So I know this can sound very tedious when I'm going through this extra lengthy answer, but I want to make sure that everybody understands what's the difference between a fake and true, a difference between a poser and a wannabe and a true person. And if somebody doesn't understand their, you know, difference between fake and real, or reality and you know just some fake shit, maybe that person is without hope. Maybe that person is like, hey, I wish you the best, but no cigar for you. So, yeah, feel free to explore all kinds of art in various ways, but just ready to face that some people will face that thing with a lot of criticism. All right, very, very lengthy answer. So, once again, I'm going through these highlighted, tagged questions before getting back to the back scroll. Um, Rob Helfer is asking me, would I agree there is a black metal and there is extreme metal, for the latter being influenced by the former but not the same? I would say extreme metal is more like an umbrella terms. You know, you can really put a lot of different styles under the wording of extreme metal. Death metal, surely it's extreme. Grindcore, sure. Thrash metal, definitely. Black metal, totally. But then again, there are things which not might sound really extreme. Say there are a lot of atmospheric black metal releases which don't, in my opinion, sound that extreme at all, even if they're called black metal. So black metal and extreme metal are not the same, but a lot of black metal ones could be put under the word of extreme metal, if that makes sense. Charger Rocks, thank you for your comments about being wise. I don't know if I'm wise, I just have some ideas in my head. Mash is asking, would I consider atmospheric and ambient bands such as Bejaz de Iver true black metal? Well, first of all, how the music is done is not really a question whether it's true or not. I think it's more about the right intentions, the right mindset, the right core. And core doesn't obviously here, have anything to do at all with, metal core or whatever core. It's more about being the kernel of things, the very, very core. Like, where do your ideas come from? Are you doing black metal because it's your passion, it's the darker reality talking to you, or are you doing black metal so that you might get laid or get fame by kids and chicks and shit? I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong earning a little bit money with your music, whatever style it is. But if you're only doing black metal in order to, say, get laid or get a paycheck, in my opinion, that's a wrong reason. That's just how I feel about it, and you can totally disagree with me. Ginger Rocks is asking, are there any Christian black metal bands that I do like? No, there are not. I do have one Esther album in my review box, actually, which I got from Inferno Festival a couple of years ago, which I still haven't reviewed. Uh, Nowadays, I'm a little bit more relaxed in that sense that I can actually listen to, say, Christian or other religious music and not just give a shit. But back in the days, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, I was very fucking strict. I was more like, if someone sends me Christian music for review, I'm not going to review it. Period. That's pretty much of it. I was very adamant that I'm not going to fucking give a Christian music a fucking chance. Doesn't matter how good it might musically, sound like, but it was like, no way, Jose. It's almost like, hey, I'm a straight person. I'm not going to have gay sex just because it would be woke. My point here is there's certain boundaries which I'm not ready to cross. And that has nothing to do with anti-gay or anti-Christianity. Well, in that the Christianity things, I'm very anti-Christian. I'm very anti-Islam. I'm very anti-religious in general. So I think Christian black metal can fuck off. I don't think it's called black metal when it's Christian, but that's just my take. Feel free to disagree. All right, getting more comments from the back scroll. Oh yeah, Rutger Silsi was asking what band shirt I'm having. This is actually a friend's band and also one of the best black metal band from Finland, Lord of Pagathorn. Already started very, very early in the 90s. Didn't do much in the 90s, however, but more like resurrected in 2000s, 2008 or 2010, something like that. And now they have like what 2 or 3 albums out. Really good black metal band. And I'm really proud to have that guy more as a friend and also a couple of Lord of Pagathorn uh, shirts. I will obviously go through that band at some point when I get to letter L in my record collection videos. So I will talk about that at some point later on. All right, what's else? What else with your comments? I'm trying to read here and quickly browse through. I know not all the comments are really questions. I know some of the comments are not really directed at me. So give me a break if I'm not, reading or answering every question here. Aske was saying, "Hello, JK. My question: do you know who J Dog is?" Yes, I do. Who J Dog is? I once upon a time, maybe 2 years ago, emailed Mr. J Dog and asked that if he wanted to do some kind of collaboration in terms of streaming and whatnot. He never got back to me, so I guess it was forgotten. I know he knows my channel because someone asked about Rauta on his, channel, and he was reading some comments and mentioning that. So yeah, I would totally do collaboration with him. We are not maybe so similar with him, J Dog, as I am with Iblis, Cheyenne, or into the Necrosphere Jackie, but it would be interesting nonetheless. Oh, sorry, Mash. I missed your earlier highlighted comment or question. Are there particular releases I'm looking forward in 2025? I wish there were, but I've learned over the years that I kind of stopped waiting for certain albums to come. First of all, I know there's this building tension when your favorite band is going to release a new album from, a few months away. And secondly, there's just too much happening. It's easy to just forget, like, oh, there's new album coming out by this and that band. Obviously, when my favorite bands are doing albums, but Slayer doesn't do albums anymore, nor does Bathory or Death, nor Bolt Thrower. So I think pretty much all my favorite bands are, done with. And, the ones that are still active, like Dark Throne, well, Dark Throne has been shit for years. So I'm not really into hearing new Dark Throne or Burzum for that matter. So I've kind of given up on waiting new albums by my favorite artists. I mean, it used to be fun. Hey, there's this new Slayer album coming out. There's this new album by this and that band coming out. But nowadays, I don't really give a fuck. I mean, when I hear it and I like it, I'm like, wow, it's like me being this kid on a Christmas morning, celebrating all the gifts and all. But I don't really wait it like that anymore. It's just maybe I'm too cynical and all. I don't know. Thank you so much, John Trevor Rocks, for your big donation. Thank you so much. Once again, I want to use this possibility to thank all the Patreon supporters who have been supporting Rauta channel, including John Sherd or Nate Red here. These people who have been supporting Rauta either through Patreon site and or directly with this direct donations here on Rauta's super chat. I think that's called, or other means like there's PayPal possibility for people to donate Rauta some money. Now, I want to make sure, and I keep saying this on every stream, but that money doesn't go directly my personal bank account. I mean, first it goes and then I move it to Rauta's bank account. And what that money is used for, well, drinks and hookers, not gonna lie, also drugs. No, seriously speaking, they're used for hotel trips and, flight tickets, meaning we are going to festival with me and my cameraman. So that money is always put into such use that I can do with my cameraman, that is, more interviews for you. I will mention those festivals I have planned in a bit. Some people, at least Patreon supporters, should already know what I'm talking about, but I will soon mention those festivals. If I'm not mentioning them in 20 minutes when and 1 hour has passed, poke me in the eye. Yeah, JT Toombs, anti-Christian, anti-Islam, and the motherfucking everything. I don't know. There are probably no pro-Islam black metal bands, but I mean, in general, religious bands, fuck off. John Sherrod Rocks was asking, do I like grindcore, like Nazum Brutal Truth? I do like some. But then again, with Napalm Death, I'm more fan of their death metal style than grindcore style. But there are some good, grindy bands. I think a couple of years ago, for example, I had this 7-inch EP for review, which was Retaliation and whatever the other band was. Good grindy stuff. And then there are bands which are more like death grind, and sometimes the lines are blurred when you go for grindcore to death grind and stuff. But bands like, Misery Index, for example, have been doing some good stuff. So yeah, I do like some grindy stuff, but mostly I go for death metallic stuff. Attic. Lucas is asking if I know Attic or like it. Unfortunately, I don't know. I have ever heard it. I mean, I have heard the name, but I don't think I have heard the music of Attic. So unfortunately, can't really comment. Yeah, Cherry Lamp, you're right about it. It's very Irish to combine coffee and beer. Oh, I missed also Rob Hellfire's comment about being maple cream coffee and coconut chocolate coffee. Delicious. Sounds good. Gyrolamp is asking, have I ever been on the frozen lakes in winter? Can I ice skate? Obviously, I think every Finnish people knows to ice skate, but I have never been ice skating on a frozen lake nor frozen sea. For example, here where I live on this island, there's a lake, and it's always when gets frozen, there will be a pathway which people kind of like plow, make sure there's not too much snow on it, and they make these kind of ice skating paths. But I've never been there. I don't even have ice skates these days. I never was a big fan of it. But I think every Finnish kid knows, how to ice skate because that's what we do at school, an elementary school. You're kind of bound to learn ice skate. I don't hate it, but it's not my thing. Anastasia is hoping to snow to Poland. Unfortunately, we don't have the snow here. We cannot fucking do anything about it. So it's a fucking zero snow winter here pretty much as well. Yeah, Jarolab, I totally agree with you. Might not sound, it's not black metal when you don't have, snow and frozen shit and all that stuff. Let me make this clear. Snow, winter, all the freezing weather, it's fucking inspiring for black metal. Some of the best lyrics, in my opinion, I have ever written were inspired by, wintry landscapes, that frozen feeling. Fuck, we even did this album with Nightside a year ago, you know, Death from the North, which was very, very much inspired. I mean, some lyrics on that album are very, very much inspired by how much cold can kill you. How you can get the freezing moment when you just feel like your life is just, fading away and the warmth is draining away and all. So yeah, winter can be very fucking inspiring for black metal, and not only because Norwegians made it a big deal. I mean, every fucking Nordic country knows what cold and freezing moon fucking is. So it can be really, really inspiring, way more than hot summer days when you see cute ladies with them short skirts or sexy fucking clothes, and hot summer days are not really inspiring for black metal. That's totally different breed for music and all. So in a way, we are very blessed in Finland because we have actual four seasons. When it's spring, it's not winter, not nor summer. When it's fall, autumn, it's not fucking winter or spring or summer. It's all different. For example, autumn can be very fucking depressing and very fucking moody, but it's not that cold and like big fuck off to you as a human being when it's just autumn. It's kind of a romantic and very gothic, but it's not fucking let's make black metal season. But when it's fucking cold and freezing and snowing, and you see nothing but darkness, because when you go to work or school, it's going to be dark and cold. When you go out of that school or work, it's already dark again, because all the daylight hours you're going to spend during during the midwinter days, you're going to miss the fucking few hours of day. So come weekend and you're having some beers with your friends or whatever, you go to a rehearsal place, you pick your guitar and you're like, fuck you, fuck this winter, it's gonna kill you, it's gonna be fucking dark, it's gonna be fucking evil, it's gonna be just death, but not death like death metal, so yeah. Black metal and winter go like hand in hand. But that being said, I'm a summer person. I like when I can go out, like just t-shirt. I can have cold beers outside, do barbecue, being outside with friends and shit. So as an outdoors person, I really fucking love summer. But I also get very inspired by, winter. So in a way, it's a very, very contradicting, comment to say I hate winter, but at the same time, I feel it's very, very fucking inspiring. Sometimes I keep saying, and this is something I kept saying through the decades many, many times, but miserable things are some of the best inspirations in your life. So whether it's about like a broken heart, or you feel a certain kind of a hatred, or animosity, or dislike, contempt, or other nasty negative feelings towards human beings, or whatever in life, it can be very fucking inspiring. So sometimes you have to, dig deep into the negativity in order to write some of the best lyrics or some of the best songs you ever will be. Because if life was just, happy thing, treading on those rose petals and having excellent food and excellent drinks all the time with best friends and just pure, I don't know, sex, love, and happy times, it wouldn't be, very, very good music that comes out of that stuff. I mean, I really can't, expect some best extreme metal, black metal, death metal, whatever metal come out of that happiness. And once again, SK is donating money as well. Thank you so much. Big thank you, SK. Nice to have you on the stream, by the way. Thank you so much for your donation to Rauta. Big times. Big thank you. All right, so much about winter and shit. Time to reply to your comments. JT Toombs was asking what's my favorite 90s Sodom album. Um, I mean, I've been pretty much on and off with Sodom every now and then. Uh, I really don't even remember which year which Sodom album came out. Never been a big Sodom fan, but I remember that M16 uh, made a big impact on me. I was kind of a very, very late bloomer when it comes to Sodom, maybe because most of my friends never talked about Sodom. So I was quite old to, figure out Sodom. So in a way, I have just kind of overlooked it, not by intention, but just kind of by accident. So I don't know if I have so many favorite Sodom albums, but M16 is the one that I've been listening to mostly. Um, Ally is asking if I'm familiar with Asrar Records. I don't remember the name, at least. All right, back to your earlier comments. Yeah, lots of talks about winter and ice skating. So pretty much like Natrid says, loving cold, grim winter, but not really cool when you have to drive to work on it or plow the fucking snow. It fucking sucks, man. All right, keep asking, but I'm currently browsing the back scroll. Do I think there will be a chance to see Goat Moon live? Yes, they used to play at Steelfest and other places. Yeah, I think Goat Moon will play in the future as well, but I've been told Goat Moon is pretty busy with the family life and all these days. Do I like Volcano or Holocausto? I gotta say, I never gave them too much of a listen. Some old Brazilian stuff is wild and all, but I don't know, not really my favorite cup of tea. But then again, I had never pretty much given, proper time to Volcano and Holocausto and all the old school Brazilian acts. Sarcophago is probably the only one I've been listening pretty much a little bit more, but yeah, not too much even that. The new Behemoth song is funny. Yeah, it isn't bad, but it isn't really good either. And the music video by Behemoth, which I reacted on Rauta Beyond, well, seemed like a low budget video for Behemoth, considering that they made fantastic work with the Satanist video track back in the days. Hello, Bastian. Good evening to you as well. He's asking if I have feature interviews these bands: Nocturnal Sorcery, Vagra, or War Moon Lord. Well, War Moon Lord has said thanks, but no thanks. Maybe too shy to do interview. Vagra is also not interested at this moment to do interview. Nocturnal Sorcery, hard to say. I haven't commented or uh, been in contact with the band. That is. Gyrolamp, you're not the only one who preferred the more complex death metal by Behemoth or their original stuff. Yeah, very much so. In my opinion, Behemoths did the best thing when they went for Morbid Angel worship. Jack is asking, Highlander remake is being made. What do I think about it? Interested because Highlander was considered pretty much a B movie back in the days when I was a kid, but it was a good movie. Even though nowadays standards it probably isn't that good, but Highlander was the kind of a cool swords movie. There can be only one after all. Hello, Eric Sire, and sorry for late greeting. I noticed earlier that you were here, but I was reacting to these highlighted comments. So there's that. Uh Thank you so much, Brian Mons. I don't know why I'm being given this blessing of people donating money. Thank you so much, people. Once again, I want to remind you that all this money is spent on hookers and drugs and debauchery. No, seriously, on flight tickets and hotel rooms for festivals, or sometimes, Airbnb, booking.com things, whatever. But yeah, I promise to get you back when 1 hour has passed about the festival. So give me 9 more minutes and I will talk about what is the donated money being spent this year. I promise to mention that. Dan Lesamo was asking, did I get to see Pantera? Pantera played live here in Finland a couple of weeks ago or something like that. I wanted to go there and I wanted to do Pantera interview, but I was told they don't do interviews, so I skipped the show. I've seen Pantera a couple of times in the 90s, 1994 and 1998, and I really liked Pantera back in the days. So would have been good to refresh that experience, but no, this time I didn't go because it was during a week and no interview possibility. Thank you, Rob Hellfire, regarding the extreme metal versus black metal wording and all. Yes, Terror Poser is totally a pretending people. Wannabes are, at least they try to be something they're not, but posers are just fakes pretending to do shit. Um, Neoxot Hill walked in the middle of the thing and has no idea what was the question. Yes, Eric, sorry, I totally agree with you about the metal being opposition to mainstream religion at its core. And yeah, I totally agree. That's one of the things how, in my opinion, black metal got born, and also thrash metal and death metal. It was a big middle finger towards our religion. This middle finger is not directed to you, dear people, but indeed, the religions. All right. Can medical pathology. Okay. Joining in. All right. Going through the back scroll. Give me some slack. I'm trying to answer your tagged questions. John Short is asking, so many great bands from Germany when it comes to thrash, Poison, Destruction, Exhumer, Sodom. Yes, and of course, early creator, I guess, goes with that. Yeah. Germans really did their old school, German thrash or Teutonic thrash. Yeah, Running Wild. Running Wild was really the pioneer of pirate metal. My friend was a really, really big fan of that back in the days. It was like his, go-to band. Um, Well, naturally, you would be surprised how many more women there are in the black metal audience versus thrash and death metal. So if you ever feel like black metal is a sausage fest, go to a thrash event here in Finland, and you will see what's a sausage fest. The thing here is, at least when you go to say events like Steelfest, about 1/3 or even more are female. I think Anastasia has been there as well and pretty much backed me up on that. I would say roughly 35-40% of Steelfest attendance is, women. When you go to death metal shows or thrash metal events, that percentage drops down big time. And pretty much it seems like with thrash and certain more brutal death metal style, it's almost like the girlfriends of the band members. But yeah, it's I would definitely say it's easier to get laid as a black metal artist than it probably is as a thrash metal or death metal one. I don't know how it's in Doom, but I think Doom is more appealing to a lot of women. All right, what else? I gotta say, Rob, I have no idea what's politically going in Canada. I try to steer away from politics. That just makes me nauseous. Lucas was asking what's heavier than Lord of Pagathorn. That's a weird question. I'm sorry to hear, Natred, that you have your credit card got checked. That sucks, man. Chuck is asking, "Do I like Blood Feast?" I don't think I have heard Blood Feast. Oh, it rings a bell, but I'll make a safe answer and say no. And I think it's King Diamond worship. Then probably not my thing. I never got to like King Diamond vocals. Hello, Brian Mons. Nice to have you here in the stream. Yeah, it's the Saturday of the month. I try always to do these streams on the first Saturday of the month if possible. And next week, I couldn't even have done it because I'm a Nordic Metal Cruise, hopefully doing some interviews as well. And we're celebrating a Rauta's 20,000 subscriber base with the Rauta cruise. So I hope to bring you some stupid shorts video from the cruise as well. Yeah, that just imagine me doing figure skating. That would be fucking awkward. Jackie's asking, "What's my favorite Monstrosity album?" I'm not never been big Monstrosity fan really. I have heard maybe only like half of the albums. I remember the early stuff was pretty cool, but I kind of forgot the band over the years. It's interesting that you guys from Canada hate hockey and skating. I'm surprised, really. Reg- Netred is making snow angels in ash. Yeah, snow angels rock, especially when you're coming from sauna. Netred is asking, do Finns throw some reindeer flanks on the grill during summer? I must say reindeer meat is quite rare in south of Finland. I think it's only more like Laplandish stuff. Niflungur is saying, I don't like cherry shirt on. Uh, you want me shirtless? Why? Who the fuck would want me shirtless? I can do shirtless if you want to, but that would be just weird comment. Maybe we have the okay, I'm gonna shut my mouth. Yeah, Eric Sire, I mean it's easier to hate winter when you're older, when you realize the responsibilities with winter. When you were a kid and you didn't have to plow snow, it was easy to, yeah, it's all winter, let's just drink beer and worship Satan. But when you get older, you're like, oh fuck, I actually have to plow the snow myself, so fuck you. Ally, who wouldn't want another hot tub interview? I mean, that is something unusual, so why the fuck not? Mikita says Washington State and literally started snow right now. Good for you. Wish we had a little bit snow. Yeah, not really. I think you're making a point with Von from Hawaii and yeah, Paradise all year. But then again, Von doesn't really sound like Nordic black metal, like the cold kind of a thing. Saki is asking, there's a band from Brazil called Behemoth. Never have heard it. SK, yeah, me too. I would love if Sieluvihollinen would play at Steelfest. I got a news in my earbud, and I've been told that Sieluvihollinen will play in southern Finland this spring if things go well. And I've been promised there might be a Sieluvihollinen interview. I don't know if that will happen, but that is definitely possible to happen. Oh, okay. More comments with the highlight. I will answer you. Rob Hellfire was mentioning, speaking of destruction, have I heard singer side project Panzer? No, I unfortunately have not. Anastasia was mentioning, how does it feel to play at Steelford for the first time instead of just attending? It feels fantastic. We played at Steel Chaos, which was the fall edition, the autumnal edition of Steelfest 2 years ago. And in my opinion, it's still my favorite place we have ever played a show with Nightside. And mind you, we started in the 90s. But playing at Steel Fest, even though I'm more inclined towards wintry shows rather than summer shows, but Steelfest is something special. If anybody watched my video about like my favorite festivals last year, top 5 festivals, which I made for the first time last year, Steelfest was my favorite festival last year as well. So of course it feels fucking special for me to play there. At the same time, it's also this might sound weird, but it's at the same time it's also a little bit like you know a challenge because I'm always busy with Rauta at Steelfest. I'm always, having good time with friends, and then again, I'm also doing interviews. So now that I'm on double duty, not just doing interviews, and of course being with friends there, we also have a show there. I mean, it's gonna be a time wise a little bit challenging, but in terms of playing there, because we're already rehearsing songs with Nightside to play at Steelfest. For me, it's our most captivating possibility so far. So I'm very fucking stoked to play at Steelfest. Igor M is asking, am I familiar with Norhem? Obviously, I am because they are from the same city. I know some people. I think all the people playing in the band, some of them are my friends. I think they do good music. And these guys have thirst and passion for rather pagan black metal. And in my opinion, Norheim is one of the promising bands coming from Finland because they have good you know touch, good style with their music and all. So yeah, definitely, Norheim is a good band, and I think people should tune in and check it out. Never More Rules is hell's Rauta, everyone. Hell, welcome to the stream here, 1 hour in, and I promise to talk to you about the festivals. And Judge Rocks is asking, any news from the Nightside camp? We have 3 new songs ready, of which one we have decided to play at Steelfest for the first time. So we're gonna play some new music. There's also a secret cover song which we aim to play at Steelfest, as well as some new and old songs. By new, I mean the latest album last year, Death from the North. So we're gonna do both new and old songs. One totally new song, never being played before. It's not even recorded yet. And yeah, a cover. And that's pretty much of it. Nightside is doing good, except that we don't have other gigs planned in the nearby future except Steelfest. And Junju Rocks is asking what's wrong with drinking beer and worshipping Satan. Nothing is wrong with that, obviously, but I mean, winter is these days, at this age, way more than that. Ally is saying, will I be reviewing the new Sour album? I am assuming Season of Mist will send me that. I've already heard that new Sour album a couple of months ago, so I know how it sounds. Andy Marshall was such a nice guy. Big respect for him doing what he's doing with that Scottish take on kind of a pagan national romantic black metal. The new Sour album sounds a little bit different, and at the same time, it sounds like Sour. I noticed Mikko Aspari didn't like the sample song. I didn't. I don't think it's bad. I think it's interesting. Maybe the sound is a little bit weird, but maybe that's also something that you get used to over time. But Andy Marshall, big love, good guy. Ginger Rocks, an interview with Flagane would be good with me. Yeah, I would love to do Flagane. Flagane is one of the best Finnish black metal bands, in my opinion, surpassing bands like Beheksen or Horna or Clandestine Blaze, musically anyway. And good guys playing Flagane. Both guys are friends of mine, but I know the other guy, Tony. He's not, big on anything public. It's been more than 10 years since the last time I've seen him, and I met the guy already in the 90s or early 2000s for the first time. We're old buddies, but I haven't heard from that guy for a long, long time. Now, Black Venom, who plays in Flagane, Horna, and a bunch of other bands, then again, he's a very, very social guy. But I don't know if he would be up for doing a Flagane interview without Tony. So there is that. Okay, now as I promised, that about around 60 minutes mark, I will talk about a little bit Rauta's plan for year 2025 in terms of festivals. So please, people, pay a little bit attention what I'm trying to say here, and don't make too many questions, at least during when I'm talking about it. So the plans for year 2025 in Rauta, where I'm going with my camera people, and what is happening is pretty much like that. February, that is next week, Nordic Metal Cruise 2025. There are bands like Arcturus and Anal, Nathrak, Wormwood, Monegarm, and something else. I am trying to get, I'm going to announce it. Don't do the goat moon thing with me asking for every couple of years now, when this interview will happen? I don't know if these interviews will happen. And I have asked the possibility to interview Arcturus, Anal Nathrak, and Monegarm. I don't know if any of these will happen. I will know more in a week, but at least so far, none of the bands have said no, thank you. So there's possibility. Actually, Anal Nathrak already said that we could do it at the harbor area, which is not possible. So let's keep our thumbs up that will happen. So that is the next trip where we'll be going, the next live shows, and I hope some special coverage will be made out of that event. Then early March, roughly 5 weeks away, is Turku Saatanalle XAA, not AA, XII, or Turku Saatanalle 12, where Beherit is headlining and accompanied with such acts such as Clandestine Blaze, White Death, and so forth. Now, Clandestine Blaze still probably not ready to do the interview, not yet anyway. Beherit new interview is not happening at that event. I talked to Holocausto or Marco of Beherit, and while he is totally okay doing another Beherit interview at some point, it's not happening at the festival because there's so much stuff going on. But I am contacting the bands playing there, like Morbosidad, very, very soon, and hope that I will get a few interviews out of that event as well. Turku Saatanalle 12 will take 2 days in my home city in 5 weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see Beherit for the first time live for me, and some other cool bands such as Clandestine Blaze, White Death, Morbosidad, and beyond. I hope to get some interesting exotic interviews out of that. Exotic would, in my case, be Power from Hell from Brazil and Morbosidad from United States and so forth. But I don't know what they're going to say, and will these bands be willing and able to do the interviews with me? At least I had a good contact with Morbosidad. What it was 2 years ago when they played at Steelfest, and those guys knew Rauta at least some of the guys from Morbosidad knew Rauta, so there's a good chance that interview might happen. Now, come April, and me and my cameraman, we are going to Germany for Acherontic Arts Festival. Another 2 days in Essen, Germany. And there are some bands which I haven't seen in Norway, including Beyond the Gates or Inferno Festival or Steelfest. It's not like the lineup is big and majestic, but some bands that I have never ever seen live will perform there. And I'm trying to do my best to interview as many bands as possible at Acherontic Arts because it's different. Cool bands and something unusual for me as well. Now, in May, there will be Steelfest, obviously, where I try to do interviews during all those 3 days when the festival is happening. Yes, including the day we are performing there with Nightside. So I always aim for 2 bands per day. That is my go-to plan with all the events. If I can do more, we will do more. But at this point, I don't know. Now, June and July are pretty much question marks at this point, not only because of money, travel and costs, right? But also because I don't know how much free time me and my cameraman have, during the vacations and all. But in August, I am trying to go once again with my camera people, one from Norway and one from Finland, to Beyond the Gates Festival in Bergen. That's going to be 4 days in Festival Madness, and I try to do interviews there as well. And also 1 week from that in August will be Helsinki Metal Festival in Helsinki, Finland, which means another 2 days of Festival Madness. And that's where I will be actually celebrating my birthday. What a wonderful chance to celebrate birthday with bands playing live just for you. And, hopefully this time I'm able to do interviews. So how is this money that you people donate to Rauta? Yes, like I said, we're gonna buy some plane tickets and book some accommodation. Already that Acherontic Arts, plane tickets are taken care of. I'm gonna pay for the Steelfest accommodation, Turku Saatanala accommodation from the money. And obviously, I try to invest all the money for these festival trips so we can do more. Now our budget is pretty okay, but it's still not too much because, like I said, flight tickets cost a lot of money, and booking accommodation always is. But this is how the plan is laid for us at the moment. So if things go as I have planned, you should get some interviews out in February, March, April, May, June, July. We'll see about it. And once again in August and September. Now, I don't know if there will be some interesting appearances at some point. Like, for example, I was told that Sabat from Japan is playing in Finland in June. Now, I don't know if their English is so good that they will be able to do interviews with Rauta or if they have the interest to do with Rauta, but I hope a Sabbath from Japan would be happening, because it would be fucking fantastic, fucking occult, fucking underground. So let's hope it's going to happen. But these are the plans. I hope these will satisfy, some of you in terms of interviews. And obviously, I try to make Rauta's other content just beyond the interviews more interesting. I'll try to roll as many episodes of this Finnish black metal history to you. We have some 4 episodes out. And as soon as I have been listening more and reading more lyrics and all, I will be making more of those history of black metal bands to you in order to, I don't know, hopefully entertain you. And there will be also these retrospective videos from various bands, and I will first and foremost focus on the bands that I have interviewed already because it makes more sense. I have interviewed the band, why not give them a little bit more coverage and time and love on Rauta channel? I know some of you won't give a shit all about those other videos apart from interviews, but some of you really care and seem to dig these history videos as well as retrospective videos. So I hope you will like them. And as always, should you have a great idea for a video or video series on Rauta, you can always let me know that you have this great idea, and then it's up to me to figure out whether or not I can execute that brilliant idea of yours. So always feed me with your great ideas and hopes and suggestions and recommendations or requests. I do my best to help you out with the videos, or entertain you with the videos. I know I'm not the best entertainer out there in the world, but I'll do my best to, give you the videos which I think might be interesting to you. Whoa, what a long answer. I need some beer. All right, I'm gonna read some of the back scroll comments. All right. Sark, I really love your comment. The Shit of God was probably produced by arch enemy posers, hangs out with her and Wolfgang way too much. Yes. And Conan the Barbarian still holds up. Fucking brilliant movie. The best sword movie ever. Gladiator would be maybe number 2 with Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer of the Beast. And thank you so much, SK. You already mentioned that we give you money because we give you give us what we like. Thank you so much, SK, for your words. Cecilia Taylor is saying, "We will pay for your debauchery, Jerry." I don't know anybody wants me to pay for my debauchery as much as a great idea that sounds. Chucky's asking, do I like the high nose killing bands? I don't know. I know that. Oh, yeah. Jokonson. Nice to have you as a Rauta Elite. Thank you so much. Very good. Very, very good. And thank you so much, SK, once again, uh, for your great donation. Thank you so much. You're already giving too much money for Rauta. I mean, you should buy yourself something nice instead of me. Have a great bottle of bourbon. Yeah. You are actually allowed to bring some booze to Finland. It's going to be great that you're finally coming to Steelfest. I'm really proud of it. That, not for the Battle of Bourbon, but you being finally able to come to Steelfest. People, you have to understand, SK has been one of the most loyal fan of supporter of the channel. I have had talks with the guy many, many times online, and I'm really stoked to see him coming to Steelfest as well. You don't probably understand my weird fucking mindset, but I do respect a lot of you brothers in metal here. I'm not gonna say this as some kind of a Manowar bullshit. Don't get me wrong, I like Manowar, but I indeed believe in camaraderie. That is, in my opinion, there are these universal things. When you feel like-minded people, doesn't matter where you live, what kind of a culture and background you have, doesn't matter what age, gender, whatever your language is. Sometimes you just find out like this guy or this gal or this person over there is something that we share. It's kind of a tribal thing, and that's something that I've said for a lot of years. Metal is very, very tribal. We might not look like the same. We might not, talk the same language. We might have lots of other interests and contradictions with one another, but we are fucking tribal people. And like Chris C, the guy who creates my thumbnails, also from America, he's such a great guy who I met over, our discussions online when he suggested me a couple of years ago that he would like to do Rauta's thumbnails. And little did I know that that would be a real friendship over just some guy from, from other part of the world, United States, first doing thumbnails to me. And then we started talking about music. He came to Steelfest 2 times now. Turns out to be a fantastic friend, real great guy. And he also brought us some bourbon. I say us because we shared, obviously, the bottle he brought to Finland for Steelfest. And I'm lucky to have him as at the same, accommodation with my cameraman and some good friends at Steelfest. And it's going to be fantastic, really, to meet your tribal friends, or like I guess the Americans like to say, brothers from another mother. But it's a really, really great. I met so many interesting and cool people because I started doing Rauta. Obviously, before Rauta, I made good friends because of, just going to gigs. Helped that I played already nightside in the 90s. I got to meet a lot of cool people, people like Horna, Satanic Warmaster guys, and all that stuff because, we were coming from the same Finnish black metal scene. Obviously, later on, when I started, doing reviews for a local website, it connected me to a lot of people, out, within the borders of Finland. And when Rauta started 8 years ago, fuck, time flies. I have made so many good friends, in various parts of the world, just because we are like-minded with the music we love, the passion, the feeling, the lifestyle, really, in essence. So if this feels like, hey, Finns are supposed to be very fucking introvert, you are supposed to misanthropic. How you fucking can say you love us? The tribal people. That's how I really feel about it. You know, I can say 99% of people more or less suck, but it's the 1% that fucking matters. And it's my tribe if I choose so. And I can say I'm really, really happy that I have met a lot of you people. And I don't say that you would like the channel so much more if I started saying some nice things about you. I don't do fucking that kind of shit. I'm an honest person. And I say it's my pleasure, for example, doing these streams because it's so nice to chat with you people. It's nice to answer your questions. And I don't expect, you to like me. You don't have to like me in order to, I don't know, ask questions and all that stuff. But really, it just came to my mind because SK was mentioning about the bourbon and coming to Steelfest. It's so fucking great. In my opinion, this whole thing, we being connected through different countries because of the same kind of music, same kind of a scene, if you will, we like. And I think that's a very, very special thing. And that's one of the best things that internet has ever, provided. The possibility to stay in touch with one another through different countries and all that stuff, to different ages and backgrounds, and make great friends just because you have similar interests. I think it's a fucking beautiful thing, and that's something that previous generations, humanity, missed a lot because of they didn't have the access to talk to one another. And I think it's a really great. We're living truly great times because of all this stuff. Jokonson, thank you so much. Indeed, being a part of this, team in a way. So thank you so much, support, and I'm glad that you have been enjoying the content so much. Thank you. Jack Todd is asking, how's lifting, Rauta? Actually, my lifting has been really great, and I'm preparing a video of my workout routines because some people have been asking about it. Like, I should, do a workout, routine videos. I've been doing a Juggernaut program for a few months now. Just recently started a second Juggernaut 16 weeks program, and I feel great. All the deadlifts, squats, bench pressing, everything seems to go nicely. I'm getting older, but it feels like my lifts might be even getting better. So I feel very, very happy about how my work lift routine is going at the moment. Never more rules. It would be great to do a new Blood Chalice interview at the moment, all that stuff, but I don't have the home gym anymore, so we would have to be elsewhere. But let's keep our eyes to the possibility. Eyes open, that is. Yes, Ginger Rocks. I don't care if you're fat or skinny. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that you're a cool person. Well, Jack Todd, I call myself mostly a vocalist. I'm bad at guitar, but I do play guitar. I have made quite a few songs for my other band, Annihilatus. All right, going with the back scrolls once again. Because obviously I missed some of the comments previously. Um, yeah, like Anastasia said here, Steelfest is about 40% women at least, and BM has some of the most beautiful girls, by the way. I agree, having seen some of myself, Anastasia being one of them. Um, what else? Magic 69 was asking, what would you not to go see Panther if you're a big fan of the band if you're not going to the interview with them? Well, first of all, weekdays gigs in a different city, it's quite of a hassle. So yeah, and I've seen Pantera a couple of times in the past when it was real Pantera, not just 50% of the lineup. So I was more like thinking, I can live without ever seeing Pantera again. But yeah, if they were my home city, I definitely would have gone to see even without the interview. What else? Nevermore Rules has beer too. Hazy German IPA 7.2. That's good. I will take a break after this beer, and then we're going to go fully shirtless just to knock you American people off. Oh, Chancellor Rocks, you're too much on beer. You donated another 500 Swedish kronor. Thank you so much. That is a big amount of money. Once again, big thank you to all of you who are on the stream, but even bigger thank you to people like John Jerd Rocks, SK, and other who donated money. Thank you so much because really this money helps. So we're gonna get some luxury hookers for Rauta's cameraman as well. I fucking kid you, people. Obviously, they're spent on the trips, but I just keep making those jokes because some people are gonna get annoyed with it. But thank you so much, John Jerd. All right. Yeah, Magic 69 is correct. The shirtless content is available on Marty's channel. Marty will be taking place on Nordic Metal Cruise as well. And yeah, not ready. Let's keep the thumbs up for Cielo New in an interview. What else? Shadow Throne is good album, definitely. Yeah, Natred, Silver Rains, and Devotion, fantastic albums. Or Phlegane albums are really good. Yeah, I know a Circle of Ouroboros, but and my friend actually plays in it. Oh, people are getting crazy about Sour. Hey, Sour is here. The legend. Yes, Andy Marshall is here. Woohoo! Andy, great guy. Yeah, Chuck, that is a big mic. That's the size of my own dick. Just fucking with you. It's nice to have Andy here. How are you doing, Andy? It was so great to talk to you at Inferno. Oh, Eric Sire has to go. Too bad. Oh, Xerk was asking any Bandcamp links to my musical project that I can send in chat. I will link you my own bands. Annihilators is actually doing a new album. We have our third album in the making. It's pretty much mixed right now. There is a one teaser song all called out Chernobyl. It's a raw mix, but it gives you a good idea what's going on. It's a way more crazier band than my main band, Nightside, which we are working on the third album as well. Nightside was founded in 1996, and it's melodic Nordic black metal in the 90s ways, whereas Annihilated is more raw and maybe more Celtic Frost, Ball Thrower, Ildion inspired black metal. Definitely not for everybody, but yeah, there they are. Check out my bands if you want to hear. Oh, Jojo Rocks, that's nice that you offered Gazol a crucifix that he wore. Nice. And Brian Mons, even though I love Scotch whiskey, I have always some good Scotch whiskey. I must show you what I'm sipping because I love good whiskey. This is something that I bought from the previous Nordic Metal Cruise. I think, well, year ago. I still have some of them left. Ardbeg Smoke Trails. What so sweet taste, man. Oh, smoky, peaty. Mwah. But I do like bourbons as well. So it's not just like I only drink smoky, peaty Scotch whiskey. So yeah, even though Scotch whiskey, especially the Islay one, is my favorite, Ardbegs, Lafroig, Lagavulin, things like that. Yeah, bourbon is great as well. Oh, not Nevermore rules. Thank you so much. If Jerry ever comes to States, his US fans need to treat him with all the best bourbons. I love the idea. That should definitely get me going into USA. Conan soundtrack mentioned. The best. I'm trying to get the back scroll red. Blotchelly's interview mentioned again. Oh, now I'm here at the "Are you guitarist?" Question. All right, Jokonson is asking, are you particularly excited for any bands in NMC, Nordic Metal Cruise? Um, well, I gotta say, I never seen Anal Nathrak play live, so I think that would be my most, highlighted thing on the cruise. But of course, I remember Monegarm, I think from late 90s, say around 1999 or so, early 2000s maybe. So it will be nice to see that for the first time, though, even though they're a little bit more folk black metal and all. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see that. Now I've finished my beer, and Jack Todd was asking what I was drinking. Malasepat, the local brewery nearby city, vanilla macchiato imperial stout. That's why I was drinking it so late. I mean, it took me 90 minutes to finish just this one can because I was replying to your comments, people, and it's 10% strong beer. Now, people, give me 2 minutes. I need to take a piss and another beer plus flush my glass. So about 2 minutes, and I will be back. All right, you had to see my big Latina ass with the camouflage things, and because you people requested, let's do it. Let's do it shirtless. You people wanted it. Let's go all the way American here. Because this time, drinking from Malla Sepat, the Bruce Napod, the Bruce Hop Blend, EBU 40, 6.0 American Things by Malla Sepat. And at this point, I'm gonna be inclined to let my friend at Malla Sepat know that I opened another can about 90 minutes in. So, alrighty, hold, give me a second. All right, my friend needs to know that because he works at Pallasepat and he also plays in a Finnish band, Insomnium. So this is the Bruce. American flag? Well, kind of. And is this Bruce Lee or whoever it is? Let's find out in topless Rauta edition. Yeah, I know my biceps are not that big, but probably bigger than your dick anyway, so it counts. So here we have this New England India Pale Ale kind of a beer. As you can see, it's quite pale, not that yellowy. As a lot of beers, let that foam go down a bit. So, did I see Nirvana reunion? No, I didn't. Yes, Cecilia Taylor was already asking for shirtless Cherry a while ago. Here you have. Um, Lucas was asking, do I like Finnish funeral doom, like classics like Thergodon, Skepticism, Worm, Phlegm, and so far? Well, I'm not big on funeral doom. In general, doom metal tends to be not that much my cup of tea. I interviewed Skepticism guys a few years ago. Good lads. I like the bleaky stuff with the funeral doom stuff, but usually the doom tempo is not really my cup of tea. Mm. See you later, Chunger Rocks. I hope I wasn't too late with that. And Sir, I hope you like the music. Yeah, Ardbeg is so good. That is very, very true. Magic 69 has a Nightset compilation CD. You probably mean the debut album because there is no real compilation on Nightside. Checked out. Thank you. Glad you like Nightside. With Nightside, I never play guitar. I just do the vocals, lyrics, and shit like that. With Annihilators, the songwriting is on me. So if it sucks, it's because of me. Yeah, Johansson, whiskey can really be an age thing. It was me around 30 until I started really liking whiskey. And I had tasted whiskey when I was like, I don't know, 18, 20s, blah, blah, blah. But it was something that kind of came with age. And it's very fitting because whiskeys tend to be rather on the expensive side of things. So whiskey is not a good solution for when you're young and don't have that much money. Infernal Cross is asking, what's my take on bands that released albums that doesn't play live or tour, like Darkthrone, for example? Well, I don't mind if bands don't play live, but I kind of agree with Archcode Guy when he said that music is meant to be played live, and we have to remember that recorded music industry is a very, very new thing, like less than 100 years anyway, whereas live music has existed as long as people have been playing music. I mean, if you go back into the old times, people probably banging two rocks against one another was live music in essence. So recorded music is kind of a new thing still, like a couple of generations old, basically. Well, maybe more than two, but you get the idea. Um, so yeah, I think bands really should play live, and I've seen Darkthrone play live, but it was Nocturno Caldo doing vocals when Satyricon lineup back in 2004. Yeah, 2004 played them, so it was really really great. And of course, Darkthrone played in the early 90s. They played live, but that was their death metal era. Xerk is having Angry Orchard, Green Apple. Well, Angry Orchard. Is it Orchard? Orchard? Anyway, they make good cider. I love them. Lucas is asking, is that sword from In the Glory Ride in the room? You mean the sword there? That was actually a souvenir when I went to Greece in 1999. So yeah, I think it was a replica sword of some old king or whatever. I don't remember the story anymore, but it was a replica of some noble, some king or whatever. Ghost moved chair. Yes, that's possible that ghost exists here. The ghosts are like, hey, yeah, let's go for some black metal and shit. So the stream died. Stream died and people pretty much disappeared. Are you still there, people? Or did everybody go away? Yes, it's back. I don't know what this temporary thing. Luckily, it didn't kill the backlog of the chat, so I can still read it. All right, Paul is, smoking some headband. That sounds interesting. SKing wearing only underwear. Well, that's good. Yeah, Magic 69 is correct. If you're drinking with only your underwear on, it's called kalsarikännit, meaning underwear drunk. Yeah, Chuck, dude, I really suck in playing guitar. To be honest, I'm so lazy to really learn to play the guitar. I've never actually liked guitar that much. I guess I failed with Annihilatus that because I have some tunes in my head. I need to learn at least a little bit to play in order to do that stuff. I mean, I learned a little bit basics, guitars in the 90s, early 90s, but never fancied too much with that stuff. 11 is asking, what's the worst concert I have been? I've been to so many concerts or the decades that I don't even remember what is the worst. So hard to say. Black Metal Follower 666 is going to Steelfest this year for the first time. It's really gonna be fantastic. I am sure you will like it. Oh yeah, sorry, Brian Mons. I decided to throw that shirt away because some people were hoping for a shirtless stream. So here it is, motherfuckers. Brian Mons, it's just that the stream died because I threw my shirt away and got some new beer. Zaki is asking, do I like Akerkoke? Oh, no, I don't like it. I kind of dislike the band. It was I remember when Akerkoke, came out with their snobby pictures. They having like suits and BMWs and looking like a bunch of snobs. It was like anti establishment. When black metal was for me and other metal stuff as well, the rebellion. You wear band shirts and spikes and leather and shit. Suddenly, Akerkoke was looking like this is some Microsoft executives, the conservative looks with their, you know, button shirts and suits and shit, and I was like, this is not my black metal, not at all. It's almost like opposite of that. And I also found Akerkoke's music very fucking boring. Nevermore rules. I don't think she cares nor would give a fuck, nor she doesn't even know. Technically speaking, there is no Mrs. Rauta. Rauta is a man of himself, a lone warrior in the deserts of metal. Black metal follower 666. I have heard ideas that sequel for Loputon Gehenna Liekki might happen, but I don't know if that actually happens. Jack Dodd, we might go to Spain later on. That wasn't a permanent thing anyway. Um. Well, yeah. I mean, whenever you are in a relationship, it's always a compromise. So you always do get a little bit pussy whipped, but let's be honest about it. It doesn't affect Rauda at all. Sag, yes, I have seen the movie. Pretty cool. Not that great. Not American History X great, but quite okay. Um, a black metal follower. I don't know about if that documentary is available. I have no idea. I know about by name and all that stuff, but I don't know if it's available anywhere. But yeah, Romper Stopper is a classic. 11 is asking who's better singer, Attila or Maniac? Well, Attila is surely more creative. Maniac may be more fitting for Mayhem. My favorite vocalist for Mayhem is Dead, though Dead being dead. But I've seen both Attila and Maniac. Both are good live performers. And I just think that Maniac's voice is more fitting. But terms of live and all, both are doing their job just fine. Dead in a bed, just like my dick. All right, guys, we've been 2 hours into the stream and I finally caught up with the backlog. People, do you have some questions you want to tag me or shall I just keep drinking? Danny's asking, do I like Aki Kaurismäki movies? I've seen a very few of them, so I don't know if in general I can call the Aki Kaurismäki fan. If you had asked me if I'm a Aku Louhiniemi fan, I was like, yeah, fuck man. Aku Louhimies, whatever. Yep, Ryan Gosling should do vocals on Mayhem. Do a Barbie movie. You know, the Ken thing with Mayhem stuff. Play some guitar. No, I don't want to play some guitar. My guitars are, first of all, out of tune, and I suck on guitar. I don't really enjoy guitar. I'm a vocalist, dude, man. All right, Never Rules. Nice to have you here for the stream. Have a good night and a great weekend, and stay tuned for next stream in about 4 weeks. Raymond, it's not like I dislike hockey. It's just like I never developed, how to say, a taste for ice hockey. Uh, what team? I don't know. I would probably watch some NHL, really, because I mean that's where the big boys go for. Then again, it might be some local team like we have TPS in Turku, where I live. So might be a local thing, really. But then again, I really could be some NHL like Boston Bruins. And why Boston Bruins? I hear some people asking because Boston was my landing spot in the United States in 2009, and that's when I started following New England Patriots for American football. So if that was NHL, I'd probably go with Boston Bruins. So let's say let's assume that anyway. Well, black metal follower, I kind of do. There's so many bands, including like say Clandestine Blaze and Horna, which I had today. Some conversation today. There was this friend of mine who was like asking like why Horna isn't available on Spotify for that matter or Apple Music, and some labels and some bands just kind of you know decide to not be on streaming services, and for some reason Horna is one of those bands, and as such I think the true fans will buy physical products. Some obviously do buy physical products even if they listen to music on streams because they want to support the bands, and yeah, I guess that's you know thing to do. I know some people are buying tapes and vinyl, even they don't necessarily listen to that stuff, but I think there is a more emotional investment. So when I go to my turntable there, okay, and I set up things to play on turntable, I remove the equipment on the turntable, which is right there right now. It's a step, to do something by yourself. Open the cover, set the vinyl on it, push the different buttons, set the needle. There's it's a more ritual than just a couple of taps on your smart device or computer to play the music. And obviously I'm gonna just pick the first vinyl that is here with me, an album that I'm gonna, review by the end of month. Say I got this from a friend who is the vocalist or main man in this album. Look at this cover image. The sheer size of this cover image. As versus, okay, I'll take my smartphone here, and this would be my Spotify, whatever I've been listening today. So I was listening to Arcturus today at the gym because I hope to interview them. So look at the sheer size. Album cover on Spotify, album cover on vinyl. There's just totally different feeling when I'm just, holding my smart device here and okay, this is the song I'm gonna play. It's easy, it's very easy to use, obviously. But this is the real deal. And even CD looks big when you compare that to the smart device. If you really think about it, imagine this is the 4K, you know, resolution. This is the big one. Everything is big, and you get to see the fucking details here, be it the logo or the eyes of this creature. With CD, it's small, but it's way bigger than when you combine the size here. Now, if you don't give a shit about cover album covers or cover details, I get it. These go like away because it's just so easy. Okay, everything I can play is here. For example, my amplifier is new enough that I have Spotify connected here. So if I just tap my Spotify to play it on Bluetooth or AirPlay for that matter, because I have iPhone, yeah, my amplifier could do it. It's easier. Now, still, when I'm working here, on my normal day job, still, however, I go to my CD player. I take the CD out of the fucking jewel case. I put it on my player and I press the fucking button to play it. A literal button, not the fucking virtual button on my screen. And even fancier it goes when I'm listening to, vinyl. So my point here is a physical copy, such as this new Erebaldo album that is coming out next week. It's a tangible object. It's physical. It's concrete. You can smell it. You cannot smell anything on fucking phone, you know? And I can get to see the details. Like, let's do this unboxing kind of a thing. I have this small blade here. Some feeling, the unboxing feeling, which I don't get to do when it's digital copy. Already, the feeling of unwrapping here. The wrapping. It's all like ASMR. It's audio pornography. The sweet wrapping. I want to eat it. No, really, I don't want to eat it, but let's get goofy. My point here is it's tangible object. It's literal. It opens. I can see it. What's inside. You don't do this when you're fucking on, your Spotify. I get to see what's underneath the CD. This smells like factory. It really does. I don't even like plastic smell, but I kind of do. And I can see, there's this is the jewel case. That's how I do my reviews. Already know it. I get to see these pictures. I get to bite out of it. I get to see, okay, there's this booklet. You don't have the fucking booklet on your Spotify. My point here is with tangible, with real physical objects, it's more reality. It's almost like when you check off to say porn star on your computer. You see the boobs bouncing. Yeah, sure. The lady is right there as an image, as a fucking video. But real objects, when you get to touch them, smell them, taste them, that's reality, bitches. That's reality. I do like reality. Well, it does smell like factory, You know how plastic smells. But at least there is a fucking smell. I mean, a different kind of smell than your fingers touching your phone, which is smelling your own ass. All right, reading your comments once again. Oh, Brian Mons, why Boston? Do you hate Boston? Why do you hate Boston? Boston is great. Had a great time in Boston. No, Magic 69. When I was living in Spain, I didn't see Hammerage. I didn't actually see any metal geeks anywhere there. There wasn't much, at least when I was in the southern Spain. Black metal follower is asking, how is Mikko Aspa in person? He's a nice, pretty relaxed dude, sometimes intense. He's smart. He's cool. Yeah, you should totally meet him. He's you know, laid back, real deal. Yes, physical is beautiful, like Serg said. Thank you, Black Metal follower, by the way, for your donation. So, thank you. Forgot to mention it. Sorry. Yeah, it's authenticity. That's what it is. And yeah, I never liked tapes. Cassettes always sucked. You know, rewind, fast forward. Fuck that shit. Yeah, Ryan Paul. I mean, what it matters is that there is the smell. Brian once, why should I come to Montreal? Who will fund it? Can we ask Taylor Swift to fucking fund it? I mean, I would love to visit Canada. No denying that. It gets kind of a, you know, cold here. So, unfortunately for all you lady and gay fans, I'm gonna put some clothes on. I rather love tapas than tapes. All right, Black Metal follower, have a good night. Thank you for being part of the stream and thank you for your donation as well. Yep, love you, no homo. It's fine. Tribal brother. Anti-air gearheads are on another level. That's true. Infernal Crossbow is asking, do I enjoy bands like Blasphemy, Antichrist, Siege Machine, Gravesend, Concrete Winds? And I haven't heard Gravesend. Concrete Winds was a little bit of a mess live for me as well. Too chaotic, not exactly Morbid Angel. Maybe Morbid Angel on speed. The fact is, the drummer cannot really, play that fast, so it's kind of disappointing. Antichrist Siege Machine was pretty fine. The latest albums, it turned out they know Rauta, and it was great to review the latest album that was a few months ago last year. Blasphemy surely has some moments, but in general, I prefer the less chaotic death metal. And when I want fast death metal, I kind of also want the technical side of it. Think about like Nile or even more so Origin. So I'd rather go for fully technical brutality versus just being chaotic and violent. Yeah, Brian Mons, you get just make the Montreal trip happen money wise, and we'll fucking do it. One thing that I don't like cassettes, by the way, is that the fucking J card. Uh, I recently reviewed some, and I obviously have some on my table here on my desk. So one thing that I don't like with J cards, even I just praised the physical format. I'll take this Conflagration tape as an example. What I showed you with the vinyl, this is the pathetic size of the fucking packaging. Okay, you unwrap the J card. Okay, it looks fine. Try fucking read this without your glasses and all, versus what you have on vinyl or even CD. So while I do not hate tapes, well, cassettes, I gotta say this fucking format is obsolete. And while I don't have a problem with rewinding and fast forwarding like that because I listen to albums, not individual songs, still I like that the possibility to just choose the track is right there, and that is with vinyl, with CDs, and with streaming. With tapes, not so much. Yeah, checked out. I think we have a lot of in common with Canada and Finland. I mean, in many ways, but of course, on cultural levels, it's different also. Yeah, Dan, I totally agree that Amonomoth Saxon collaboration was great. I do like Amonomoth quite a lot. It's one of almost like guilty pleasures. Oh yeah, Ryan Paul Origin is one of my all-time favorites in death metal. It's beautiful. I have reviewed a few Origin ones, and I fell in love with Origin with their second album, the I one. That was in 1999 or so. I don't remember the year exactly, but I've always liked Origin so much. It's not just guitar works. It's just not the brutality. Big part goes to John Longstreet's fascinating drumming style. I'm a big fan of John Longstreet playing drums. I mean, he did already great job with Angel Corpse, but with Origin. So John Longstreet and George Colias from Nile, or Colias, how you pronounce it. Those are among my favorite drummers because I love drum pornography. That's just magnificent, really. So yeah, wish I could see Origin live and interview them as well. I'm not big on Advent Sorrow. I haven't heard all of their stuff, but so far I'm not really convinced. Sounded okay, but maybe I haven't heard their killer album, whatever. But yeah. Well, yeah, Satima, how do they Satinae? I get it, your point with tapes. You have to pay attention to the whole thing. Yeah, that's true. But still, that small format kind of a sucks. So, for instance, if you don't have the time to go through the whole tape, okay, you just cut in the middle. And there it is. You either have to kind of rewind to their, starting point or continue where you left off, and that's not a problem with the CD or vinyl. If you just have to go, okay, you just shut things down and start wherever. So there are differences. Then sometimes you don't have the time to listen to the whole album at once. Sir, I consider blasphemy more like black death metal. I think that's pretty much one of the starting points for war metal, which is just glorified term for you know black death metal. Musically, blasphemy has so much more death metal to it that rather than pure, especially the Nordic kind of black metal. So I get it from aesthetics kind of thing. Blasphemy is black metal, but I would say it's still, all in all things considered, more black death kind of a thing. And yeah, in a way, raw death metal is more black metal or that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I said, people like to lump up a lot of things in this big box known as black metal, and whereas death metal is this and thrash metal is like this. In my opinion, we just shouldn't call everything black metal because there are similarities with black metal. Let things like thrash metal be thrash metal when it sounds like thrash. I'm talking about obviously bands like, say, early Sodom, for instance, where people say, yeah, it's proto black metal. No, it could be proto black metal, but it's still thrash metal. So, in my opinion, people should not push everything in the world of black metal just because there are similarities or overlapping. I think it's important to understand that sometimes some bands have multiple genres on it. So if this is death metal and this is black metal, yeah, some bands do have this overlapping thing, right? But it doesn't mean they are automatically black metal just because black metal is more diverse than, say, death metal. Well, yeah, Vader has always had good drummers too, but I still would say John Longstreet is my choice. Ryan Paul, I envy you for that. Yeah, sir, recording on tapes. I mean, I grew up with copying songs on tape, so I've been there. Hello, Nocturne. No, I don't celebrate Imbolic. Imbolc. How do you? Why does that even start and where does it even end? I don't even know. Head Split Records is asking what's the craziest bathroom performance I've seen. I don't remember anything super crazy bathroom performance. I think the ones that I've seen by bathroom has always been kind of a solid and how to say not safe, but very consistent. That's the word I was looking for. So there's always a little bit sense of danger in the air when Paratron plays, but I've been told that sometimes, Demonosova has been so drunk that Baratrum barely performed. So all that stuff. But yeah, I haven't seen anything super crazy in terms of Baratrum playing live. And the Exerg speed metal, totally. That is always like a super niche genre. So there's that. And yeah, Lucas, that's what I mean. In hindsight, people put like things like in the Sign of Evil as first wave black metal. But then again, if Bathory, for instance, if band like Bathory entered the game these days, people would just call it outright black thrash rather than old school black metal or Celtic Frost. I don't think people would nowadays call it just black metal. They would probably, yeah, it's like this kind of a weird fusion crossover, but that is what it is. Yeah, of course, Satina, of course, black metal is more than different aspects. But when you use that as an excuse, you can just basically say all kind of music that is a little bit dark with aesthetics going black metal. Well, we discussed that topic, say, almost 2 hours ago in this discussion, maybe 90 minutes ago, when I was explaining why not everything is true black metal just because there is this aesthetics or certain kind of riffs, certain kind of feel. I mean, for example, there are a lot of dark death metal bands that you could kind of see as black metal bands because there is this aesthetics or certain kind of feel or certain kind of lyrics. Okay, I'll use an example. You could consider, in a way, the same fashion. Now the Zoom is not barely working, that you could say D-side in a way is kind of a black metal because first of all it's brutal, it's dark, it's heavy, and it's heavily anti-Christian. So you could say in a way it's just black metal gone heavier, more Florida sounding. But that's exactly what death metal is. Death metal is, after all, a sibling to black metal. And kind of a calling it black metal instead of death metal is just like trying to steal it to your own camp in a way. Whereas in fact, we have to understand that death metal can sound very much like black metal, but also different. And then again, there are also very many black metal bands that don't really sound that heavy or dark or extreme for that matter, but they are considered black metal because of certain elements. And those elements can be things like aesthetics or lyrics or vocal performance. If you really go deep into that, consider this. In Flames is vocal wise closer to, I'm talking about early In Flames and Dark Tranquility, mind you. Early days of those bands sounded very much like black metal of the 90s from Sweden. And that's why Dissection back in the 90s were considered as black death metal band by some people. They were not seen so much black metal band as later on. And sometimes, and I've said this many times, Rain Chaos by Dissection sounds like In Flames with pentagrams. In my opinion, it's more the so-called melodic death metal, even if the topics and aesthetics are more black metal like. So once again, they are like overlapping, and that doesn't mean a negative thing. It's just saying like these things are not that black and white. Checked out, I only like early Amorphis when they were playing death metal. I didn't care when they changed their style for softer ones, so there's that. Yeah, I had split records. I don't remember them, doing super fancy things with Baratrum. Human Bones might have been on stage. I mean, we actually warmed up for Baratrum and Thai Servant in 1999 with Nightside, but I don't remember anything absolutely crazy happened back in the days. Yeah, Blaze in the Northern Sky is the first proper black metal album. Now, I would give that credit definitely to Bathory and Venom in a way. Venom might be a little bit, debatable whether it counted as real first black metal, much like Where you draw the line, which was the worst heavy metal album? Was it Black Sabbath one, or was it something else? But I mean, we have to understand that a lot of this is to do with being revisionistic. Yeah, exactly, Lucas. My point is indeed that. Uh, you know, already Bloodfire Death is seen as a transition phase album. It's not really pure black metal anymore in the same way as three first Bathory albums. Bloodfire Death is already like this. It's what maybe the first epic black metal album, but it's already going towards Viking metal, like with Hammerheart and Twilight of the Gods, and of course, Blood and Ice, which was recorded earlier. But Bloodfire Dead is quite different from first three Bathory albums. So there's that. Head Split. Unfortunately, I have never seen Manowar live. Something that I kind of a regret. But I am a late bloomer to Manowar. I didn't like Manowar early '90s. It was late '90s until I started liking Manowar, and then there was many years they didn't perform in Finland. So I missed when Manowar played in Finland with bands like Motorhead, and I didn't go to see them back in the days. I should have now in hindsight, but little I know that it was the one kind of a thing, Manowar, Motorhead, and whatever was the third one. Oh, check that. That's pretty interesting and wild that you don't consider Mkwa black metal for me. I think it's one of the best Polish bands ever. But yeah, I mostly, black metal from the 80s and 90s too. But there are lots of good albums in black metal from 2000s. Yeah, sir. I think definitely Battery and a lot of early black metal albums, they were inspired by punk. I mean, there's no denying that. And, there's a reason why Mayhem did those punk cover tracks after Demon album. So yeah. A lot of people seem to forget these days, as nowadays it seems like punk is from the left politically, and a lot of black metal is coming either from nihilistic background or from the right wing. But a lot of people seem to miss the link that black metal and punk, they do have same roots. Yeah, and Slayer, that's my all-time favorite band, by the way. So let's remember that. Yeah, but checked it also. You have to remember. Have you seen this compilation called Death Metal from the '90s? I'm gonna link it to you so you people can figure it out. Imagine a compilation called Death Metal, which has multitude of different styles. Metal Archives has been so slow recently. I don't know why it takes so much time these days to load, both on smartphone as well as computer. Seems to load forever. I think the hamster has died, but I will link it when it's done. But yeah, a lot of old school black metal is really kind of a punk. Oh man, trying to find the death metal. Oh, here it is. Just check out this compilation or split from 1984. See the bands called Death Metal. Now you will see four bands: Running Wild, Hellhammer, Dark Avenger, and Halloween. And that compilation is called Death Metal. Now, Tom G. Warrior has later on commented that much that pretty much tells you about how death metal, as not so much a genre, was used for a lot of extreme metal things back in the days. Death metal didn't mean the same thing in 1984 what it meant a couple of years later when bands like Possessed and Death and things like that came to be, Morbid Angel included, D-Side, what have you. But back in the 1984, you would have Halloween, which was mostly known for power metal, Running Wild, more or less the pirate metal thing, or power heavy metal, whatever. And Hellhammer wasn't really the Celtic Frost kind of a thing. But that's my point. You really basically you had zero death metal bands on a compilation called Death Metal before the genre called death metal existed. So I think that pretty much tells you how much revisionism is there with the given genres. I mean, black metal was coined more or less by Venom. So calling Venom not black metal is like, oh, fuck you. Because just because it doesn't sound anything from the 90s or 2000s doesn't mean that Venom doesn't have the rights to, word black metal. And the same thing goes for death metal. So there's that. Lucas, while I kind of want to say that the whole atmosphere, lyrics, attitude, blah, 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 is important, more important than the rest, to a certain degree, I would say I agree. But let's be honest about it. It doesn't matter how good lyrics you have, how great atmosphere you have, if your music sucks. So, in the end, we come with the music first, nonetheless. Infernal Cross, I've said this many times, but in general, I don't like humor in metal, and even less with black metal. However, there are exceptions to every rule, and I think Imbel Nezarine pretty much brought humor to black metal very early on in their career, but it was very blasphemous, and as such, it was more like, yeah, fuck off, do it. Like, I am homosexual partner of Jesus Christ. That's what Imbel Nazarene said it already in the 90s. But in general, I don't think humor and black metal has much to do in common. It's what I do a lot of humor, but I don't do it with my band, and that's the difference. Gamerworld.net. Uh, also rate never did much for me. Even I like some tech death a lot, like Origin. I mentioned it before. I do like some Archspire, but also rate. I don't know. They never made my sock spin off, so to say. SK, I only know the Arnaut Pavle by name, but I don't really know anything about it. The band at least. Yeah, and Mash, as much as I can remember, I don't think Ulcerate is really a tech death thing. All right, it's 1:30, and I really need to be going soon. Yeah, but we have to understand that the avant-garde thing is different than technicality. Yeah, black metal and Christianity. That's an oxymoron. Thank you, gamerworld.net. Have a good time in Seattle. Wish I can visit that Space Needle someday. I will be here for a while though, not for long. Oh yeah, Mash. I have reviewed some Gorgondros in the past. I think pretty much all of their releases. And curious enough, this is kind of a funny. I share it just after I get my last beer because I gotta be going in like 30 minutes. Yeah, I'll be going to bed around 2, and it's 1:30. But I have some one mild beer before I go. So I'll tell you a story about Gorgondros. This is kind of a funny. I hope it's not boring, but it's kind of a funny. So I'll share it to you. But now a quick break, about 1 minute, glass of water and a new beer, and then I will be back here. Give me a moment. Okay, camouflage, sexy pants. He's back here on the stream. All right, and I'm gonna notify my friend here. The guys from the Unholy podcast that sent me funny screen caption. Rauta's monthly stream live, me shirtless, and then some Dana White picture. Crazy stuff. My friends are crazy. I'm really happy to know the guys from you know the Unholy podcast. Cheyenne is a great dude, as is Jackie. So that's great stuff. Great humor from them. All right, I'm gonna notify my friend from Malasebat because I just opened the beer. All right, guys. One of the last beer, the last beer for tonight is Malasebat, the local brewery's Pina Colada pastry sour. I don't know about guys, but this is wild. As you can see, pineapple, coconut, milk sugar, mixed fermentation. Here's the real deal. Embark on a tropical getaway with our Pina Colada Sour, a delightful blend of pineapple, coconut, and creamy sweetness that tastes of paradise in a can. Yes, so here it is. A manufacturer brewed by Malasepat, Naantali, Finland. Great stuff. And these guys provided me with this excellent beer. Let's make sure there is no water in my beer glass, and let's do it. Sorry. All right. And you can see this is quite pale. Almost looks like a piss, but the smell is good. Unfortunately, people, we don't have the technology that you could, smell microphone smell. Please, you cannot smell the beer, but this smells fantastic. It's almost like having pina colada, the kind of a coconut pineapple thing here, but this is not the drink, but a beer. And sour beers. This is like a heaven on my tongue. Oh man, so good, so good, so good. So Gorgontrus, this is a great story because the band is mostly known for the vocalist Corvus, which is, in my opinion, the best Horna vocalist ever. Great raw vocals, might be the best black metal vocalist from Finland, honestly. So anyway, a couple of years ago, they played in Turku, our home city, with Nightside. We warmed up for them. Then we had another gig with them. Then another. I mean, we even shared a same, backstage room with them when they played at Steel Chaos. And so far, something like out of our 6, 7 gigs so far. I mean, of all the gigs in Finland so far, only one gig uh, with Nightside in Finland so far. Only one of them has been played without Gorgondros. We've shared the backstage with these guys so far at least 3 times, and the same event of obviously more times. No, we have actually shared the backstage like 4 times, and those backstage rooms are not always the same. And guess what? Now Gorgondros and Nightside will also play at Steelfest. So there's this weird connection because some of the guys who play in the band, like a couple of dudes, are old friends of mine because of the metal scene. It's not relatively small in Finland. And the other guys I've got to know because we played the shows. So nowadays I consider all of the guys my friends, but it's just kind of a funny because, back in the days originally, I only know like 2 guys from the band. Corvus because he was in Horna as the vocalist, and their bass player because he played for other bands. But nowadays we've been like fucking married couple with Gorgondros. So it's been really fun, and they're good guys, and they play good music. So can't really bitch about it. But it's just weird because in Finland you have so many other bands you could play with, and all the gigs we're always married to that, guys. Jack Toad, not that I want to brag, but these are no cargo bands. Now they're broken, but these are the what you call what's the brand? Revolution Race pants, too. So very fucking tightly knit pants. These are fucking ace, man. These are the kind of a pants you want to wear inside and outside. So just because there's like kind of a warm and quality work, now these are all broken. But I have a couple of other bands, and so yeah, Revolution Race could. This is not, by the way, promotion. I'm just happy about these bands. All right, back to comments. Thoughts on Gojira? I've never been to Gojira fan. I'm not. I don't hate it, but I just never got interested in them. Cecilia Dana White clone. That's so funny. Yeah, Blue Oyster Cult was a legend. Yeah, Ryan Paul. This beer is so great. It's one of those weird kind of a beers. Sometimes I think my beer taste is as if I'm into some kind of avant-garde stuff. It's almost like I hate all these avant-garde bands, be it black metal, death metal, whatever. But when it comes to beer, I feel such a fucking hipster. It's always I'm listening, drinking some avant-garde bands. This is like me going Arcturus, kind of a weird. But I like sour beers. I know they're not for everybody, but I do love them. That's just weird and extreme taste in a way. Ah, Milos, that sounds good. That it's a Pohjola Stout aged in Finnish rye whiskey. Sounds very good. Yeah, Rand Paul, I totally agree with you. Blue Oyster Cult, in my opinion, they don't even try to be heavy. They just try to be, catchy rock and roll. Yeah, I think yeah, Fergur vocalist is good too. I personally prefer the kind of a rawer end of black metal in vocals, and that's what I try to do with my own bands as well. The new Annihilators vocals will be partly crazy, partly bad, partly good. But I'm biased to comment my own band anyway, so take it as you wish. Yeah, Mash, you should totally see Gorgoners. They are really good live too. Yeah, Cecilia Taylor, just now you mentioned Happy Pants. I have do a lot of Happy Socks. Do you know Happy Socks? Yeah, Mash, I guess Pilsner and Lager is for people who want to keep the beer safe. I would say Pilsner and Lager are like the Metallicas and Iron Maidens in a way. Check out, why don't you touch alcohol? It makes you a better person. I kid you. Uh, I'm not gonna say everybody should enjoy alcohol. I do like alcohol for a couple of reasons. First of all, non-alcoholic beer doesn't taste good. Non-alcoholic whiskey doesn't exist, and besides, a little bit of alcohol makes people more relaxed. But I get you. You don't have to have any substance if you don't need to. So totally voluntary thing. Yo, Conson, if I can give you one tip, never ever consider any of your band's guilty pleasure. Why? Stay proud with whatever you listen to. So, for example, when I was doing the video for my record collection D and I showed some Depeche Mode, I don't have a single bit of, guilty pleasure in that take. I absolutely love that band. Not everybody has to be, not every band has to be, metal or heavy. For me, Depeche Mode is, however, dark. So I fucking love them for that reason. But I mean, doesn't matter if some music is pop music or it's something like non-cool metal. Who gives a shit? No, be a broad man and or gal or whatever, and like what you like. I know guilty pleasure is not to be taken seriously, but even so, I still say I don't have guilty pleasures. All the pleasures I have are just like, hey, it's because what I am. I do like this and that. Yeah, Mash, I think also that Satanic Warmaster is probably the best black metal band from Finland, and his vocals are great, but there are albums where his vocals aren't that great, so there's that. Sir, I don't know if there's really a video related to war metal coming up because war metal is such a kind of a glorified term for black death metal combos. I don't know if there's really a reason to do a video about it, but maybe I will do at some point, like war metal for dummies. Because I mean, why not? And sir, yeah, I agree. Alcohol used to be safer than water, like in the Middle Ages. Yeah, Lucas, alcohol might inhibit your gains, but there is way more than gains. And to be honest, sometimes it really it's better to relax. I'll give a real story. So, couple of weeks ago, I was in fact, having quite of a bender with my colleagues at work. We had like some almost 12 hours straight drinking. Not straight drinking, we had like escape room things and all that stuff. But I'm basically, we had our first beers around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and our last beers were around 3 or 4 o'clock in the night. And during those hours, we played billiard, we had the escape room, we went for dine. um, I even did karaoke first time voluntarily in my life, and I did a Slayer cover. I think I did pretty good because some guys next door table asked me, "Is that your own band?" There were some young guys, they didn't know Slayer, and I was like, "No, this is a 25 years old song." So, or more than that. So obviously, this isn't my own band. My point here is, 2 days later of that, that work party was on Friday. 2 days later, on Sunday, I was just kicking ass at the gym. I was totally doing, overhead presses with almost like my all-time record, and everything went, like straight fucking, juiced up. So my point here is, sometimes all you need is to take a break from your routines and just, you know, give it a go. So it's not just about, eating well, resting well, being super healthy. Sometimes you need to take a off-road trip, and that might include drinking a few beers. So it's not like your gains are gonna get killed just because you have a day or two of drinking. So there's that. Chuck Todd, I totally agree with you with your point. People who can control drinking should drink. I'm one of those people. I don't, rarely, I rarely, super rarely drink out of, like, I'm out of control and all that stuff. But this is what my usual take. I have a couple of beers during a night. That's it. Even at festivals, when I have like 4 days of festival, I have a few beers over the night, and nothing is ruined. No relationships are ending in fighting. There's no vomiting. There is no hangover, whatever. It's just having good times. Yeah, Masha, I totally agree. The early days of Satanic War Master, like Strength and Honor, which is one of his best releases, as well as Carillion and Satanist Madness. Those are probably the two best uh, Satanic War Master albums, and he does really great vocals back in the days. However, Amungandr had relatively weak Satanic War Master vocals, but it got better with the latest album. So there was an interesting, change with Satanic War Master and the vocals as well. What else? 11 is asking me, how would I describe a hipster band? Um, that's a really, really tricky question because it's hard to really, draw a line when something is more, say, kind of honest and true, and also in a way old fashioned or traditional, versus when you go a little bit, like we do something different. Being hipster and avant-garde are almost the same, and yet at the same time I would say they are different. Avant-garde is way more kind of artistic, maybe sometimes a little bit lunatic, if you know what I mean, whereas hipster is more like we're gonna do something against the grain just because we can, kind of a provoke. And sometimes, in my opinion, hipster being hipster in terms of this kind of music, for instance, is almost like trying things untraditional just because you just kind of want to do it differently, provoke a reaction, or like try to invent a new color, versus avant-garde is just like taking some of the history with you and going to different direction, almost like a pioneer of styles. Whereas hipster might be sometimes just going backwards in history, just like, we need to understand the old school way, so I'm gonna go something back, in order to find something more authentic or genuine. And I feel that, you know hipster is more pretentious, whereas avant-garde thing can be really honest, but that doesn't mean it's good. So it's almost like, hipster is more going back to roots, but not necessarily because of being, how to say, retro, because, for example, in death metal, this kind of a retro death metal thing, the kind of a retro revival thing, has been going on for a few years now, maybe a decade. And while I kind of understand, you want to go back to the early 90s or early 80s, like to find a true death metal thing, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you make these pretentious statements about, state of death metal and all that stuff, then it gets the hipster, mustache growing, versus just like saying like, hey, I'm just old school fan. So in my opinion, it kind of shows through the statements and ideas how you kind of executed it all. So for example, making that kind of a rotten old school beer just because it's old school and shit, it would be hipster. It's not like, hey, you're doing it old school ways just because things were better, but you're just doing it old school ways just you can prove a point. And in my opinion, that's the when the point is really lost. So yeah, I think hipster is more just being pretentious rather than being honest and figuring out why things have evolved, why things have progressed, and why you choose to pick some of the old school or traditional things and, make your own. And avant-garde is just, going artsy, basically. So, but this is just my take. I'm not gonna say you should think for the same ways. Diarrhea, for instance, in my opinion, a good example of more modern take of black metal. I don't see any hipster in that. They very much stated in my interview with them 3 years ago at Midcourt's Blood that they are this urban black metal, as opposed to, say, rather, pagan black metal, more rural. And to me, it makes much of a sense that Guyaria's urban black metal is almost like the kind of a cyberpunk stuff without being industrial. So makes a lot of sense because, big cities, metropolitan areas, and all that stuff. It's almost like being these kind of depressive places can be really dystopian, views how big cities are. You're one of the small people living in massive buildings and nobody even knows who they are. Everything is just numbers and letters, instead of, more countryside, which is always romanticized a lot. I mean, there are great benefits according to science and, culture, why people in living countryside might be happier, but it's not like the end of all, kind of a thing. It's not like be all end all thing. There are things why people don't like living in countryside, and one thing is like, uh, you know, uh, commuting to work. You know, just because you could be more with nature, and that as such it could be making you happier, also mean that you're part of the kind of incel generation. If you are born into the small village where there are no free spouse candidates for you, and the work is going to bigger cities and you're losing because of this, I mean, it can drive people crazy. You're just gonna be one loner lunacy kind of a thing. So I kind of understand the more urban approach what Gairia is doing. So as such, I don't feel any hipster or avant-garde things. After all, the music isn't that different from Mgwa, but it's maybe more modern and more not maybe no so nihilistic in the overall take. Death Heaven, then again, are more seen outside of black metal in general. I think it's more this kind of a post black metal thing, and there are even metalcore approaches as far as I remember some older stuff. So I don't feel they're even coming from the same subgenre of things. Camaraderie for the Sky is a good band in my opinion, but it's definitely more post black metal and definitely more going to atmospheric black metal. So musically quite different from bands such as Death Haven and Gairia. But everybody feels and goes through these different bands in various ways, and I'm not gonna say everybody feels them the same. So there's that. But yeah, I would say hipster black metal in general, by very definition, is more pretentious. And I think that's one of the main factors. And yeah, Lucas, regarding drinking, in my opinion, drinking is made of four major things: the amount, how much you drink, how much you eat, how much you drink water, how much you rest. So drinking alone is just one factor. It's almost like playing in a band. You need bass, vocals, drums, guitars. Drinking is just one instrument in the end of the whole drinking game. And talking about Cascadian black metal, yeah, I mean they are kind of a seen as the hipster black metal, like such as Wolves in the Throne Room and the other bands. I'm thinking of some of the Cascadian names, but they're escaping my mind. But I call them green metal because they're more rural in style. They're almost like back to nature, the kind of a early Ulver stuff, Bergdad and stuff, very much going into nature and running away from the Satanistic occultist themes. And in my opinion, the green metal term very much describes the certain kind of a atmospheric black metal when you're embracing nature as opposed to more nihilistic takes, occult taste, satanic takes, the grimness and rawness, and you're more like organic approach. I think that's green metal in essence. That's the term I've used on Rauta, and I'm not expecting everybody to agree with me with that, but I think it makes a lot of sense when you kind of let that unfold into your mind. Yeah, Finnish band Pest is pretty decent as well, or used to be. Cecilia Taylor was asking any new movies catching my interest. I don't watch many movies these days. I'm always more into gaming and TV series, but I'm definitely looking up to like looking forward to seeing the Warhammer movie, or is it gonna be series? So there's that. But about new movies, Christopher Nolan, if he's really doing another movie, I'm definitely up for that. Cecily Taylor is also asking who's my favorite movie composer. Easily Basil Polidoris, who did soundtracks for Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, uh, Starship Troopers, among others. Definitely, his style of using the brass instruments and creating this epic soundscapes is my favorite. John Williams and Hans Zimmer would be up in my top three most likely. Johnny Williams because of Star Wars, but of course Hans Zimmer for things like Gladiator. Very very epic soundscapes in general. Alfred was saying like I don't understand hypocritical double standard in black metal. It's proposed that there are no rules and have freedom. Yeah. Um, that is the common misconception that there are no rules in black metal. Why wouldn't there be rules? While black metal is about rebellion, but once you start rebelling about rebellion, meaning that you turn anti-establishment back into establishment. That's exactly why I'm so much against things like Ackerkoke. So when that rebellion is turned back into suits game, executives with long hairs playing black metal kind of a thing. I mean, it's backwards. It's almost like let's make incest great again, and I don't want to be in that game just because it's rebellious about rebellious. So yeah. Of course, there has to be certain kind of a rules. You're free to break the rules, but then you are supposed to face the criticism. So when you're saying there are no rules, well, if you're pro rape, pro incest, and all that stuff, prepare to be, attacked. So people are not afraid of possible better alternative, but afraid that things are taken out of context. Really, in my opinion. So I agree with Gamer Word Net. It's never been about no rules. Oh, Balsagot, that was a fantasy metal gone epic. Um, I don't know how to pronounce this Russian or Cyrillic name here, but I'll just read the comment. Hey, Rauta, thanks for your content. Have you ever was not sure about making a content interview with some controversial band you personally enjoy, but could it bring negative attention to the channel? I never worry about if a certain interview brings negative attention to my channel. I'll take the risk. If I get canceled because I interview certain negative or bad band, controversial band, I'll take the risk. And if I get canceled because of that, well, so be it. Mash, I don't think Drudk or summoning were ever considered hipster. I think a lot to do with summoning being get a free pass with their Tolkien black metal was because fantasy roots were always there in black metal. Yeah, Alfred, back in the 90s, it was seen that black metal was kind of exclusively satanic. It was even so far that a lot of people would say if it's not satanic, it's not black metal, but it's something else. So it depends. This is very, very time sensitive context, really. Well, I guess sir, most of us didn't grow up, you know, with the internet. But being rural can be, a double-edged sword. It can be a blessing and it can be a curse. Yeah, Ryan Paul, I totally agree that black metal has always been more working lasting. I don't buy that right wing sentiment, from the get go for black metal. I think it was later on added to it. And Cecilia Taylor has mentioned that Dickens said in another interview that BM is getting too urban. Uh, well, we have to understand that urban can mean very different things when you live in the United States or when you live in, say, in the Nordic countries, where even the biggest cities are small compared to American ones. So it's very, very context dependent comment. Yeah, and while Christians can make great music and black metal expression, it's also like the same. Like you have the vegan options for meat. In my opinion, Christian black metal is very much an oxymoron. Yeah, Alfred, I remember that the Faust actually mentioned that killing the gay wasn't because of him being a gay, and there was like this stalking aspect, and I guess a lot of just the overall black metal feeling back in the days. All right, guys, we've been doing this stream for over 3 hours, and it's time for Cherry Boy to get some sleep. I need to do moving house for a family member tomorrow, so I'm gonna call it a night. And that's it, guys. Seeing the future, it seems like. All right, let me see this happening. Um, so as far as I can see, it's the next stream is taking place on 1st of March, Saturday, as it is. So, guys, while we were having a great discussion, I think you should take it to Rauta's Discord where we have daily chats and all. And yeah, this is one of the longest streams so far, over 3 hours. Thank you so much, people, for your donation, being part of the stream once again with your great comments and questions. I think we have a good conversation here on and on, but unfortunately, I really, really, really have to go to bed and all. So, good night, Ryan. Good night, Alfred, and thank you for your comment. Good night, Brian, and everybody else, Mash and Jokonson. Thank you for your stream and all, Cecilia. Good time. Yeah, bedtime in Finland. It's 2:10 in the morning. So yes, rest and health is the most important. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your loved ones, and obviously, more than ever, stay metal. You all know what to do, people. Go listen some good shit, and okay, stay tuned for Rauta's videos coming your way. Tomorrow I have a rather interesting video coming out. I say it's interesting. I don't know if it's interesting to you, but I will be talking about sketchy, suspicious, and whatnot. And what's the responsibility for you as a piece of audience? So stay tuned for the next video, and we shall discuss various things on the next stream in a few weeks. So once again, 1st of March is the estimated time for the next stream. Take care, people, and as always, should you have any comments or questions, drop me a line on the video or Rauta's Discord. Good night and bye bye.